So in Illustrator, we went through this yesterday. Making a file, you want to put your name up here with whatever the name of the project is. Our project that we're going to work on for the next couple of days is going to be Reynoso Robot. Okay, I'll go 10 inches by 10 inches. So make sure this is inches, 10 inches by 10 inches, and I press create. If you're looking at this like, oh my gosh, we're on a new program because you weren't here yesterday, go to our assignment, look at the video in the assignment, and I walk through how to use Illustrator for the first time. It's super fun. I enjoy it, but that'll really help you out because, I can't reteach the whole thing again. So I'm going to pick up where we left off yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these tools to create our robot. Now, this was the class that had a bunch of kids that didn't have the tools, right? I believe this was the one. I found out how to fix it. So if you were one of the ones that had the issues and you didn't have these tools or didn't have a lot of these things here, this is what we do. It might be something you want to write down in your notes if you had this situation, or if you have your program open right now, you can go into it. I didn't tell you to open your programs yet, but if you're prepared, that's fine. You don't need to have your programs open. What you do is you have to go up to Window. And when you go to Window, you have to go down to Workspace. And you should have Essentials clicked here. But if you have Essentials clicked and you don't have those tools, I can go down to Essentials Classic. I click there. It'll go beep, 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 beep. And I'll reopen things, kind of organize them a little bit differently. But you should have all of the tools there, along with all of your shapes underneath here. Cool. So Window, Workspace, and then Essentials Classic. I click on Essentials because I've already kind of set up in that right there. And that's kind of the way it goes. So that's what you can do if you didn't have those tools yesterday. Okay. So what the whole purpose of this project is, you need to show me you understand how to use the shape tool. You understand how to use layers. You understand how to adjust colors, all of that different stuff. Okay. So hold on one second. Sorry, I had to talk to my kids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using these and I'm going to build my robot. I'm going to show you a couple tips and show you some things to look for, and hopefully do some refreshers on how to use the tools from yesterday. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click right here and I'm going to start with the head. I'm going to use a rounded rectangle. And I'm going to go, see, should I go more round or more rectangular? I'll go more rectangular. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press A to get my direct select tool, my white arrow. I'm going to hold Control to get my black arrow, and I'm going to adjust the size. Now, the reason that I did this is look at the corners of the shape. Understand when I'm using my rounded rectangle, if I go make a small shape, it's basically a circle because the curve of the rectangle is going to stay the same the whole time. As I get bigger, then it starts getting flatter and flatter until I get really big. So proportionately, the larger you go, the smaller the curves on your square are. If I go like this, I'm basically doing an almost oval. Okay, so that's why I made it big first and then I made it smaller. Let's see, this will be my head for my robot. So let me go like this. Remember, you hold Shift to keep shape proportionate. Also, fun fact, if I'm going to make a rectangle, we already talked about clicking and dragging, but if I hold Shift, Shift will lock it into the proportions of a square. Cool. So just letting you know that. Okay, here's my head. Let's go in and I'm going to start making a face. First off, let me do a fill color on my head. So I'm going to click on my fill color. I'm going to make it a gray because that's kind of a robot color, right? That looks all right. I'm going to keep my black stroke around the outside. And then I'm going to go with, let's go like this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to fill that shape with red. And then I'm going to turn the stroke off. Oops. That looks all right. I'm actually going to go like this too. I'm actually going to take a stroke on it, but I'm going to make the stroke a dark gray. There you go. I'll make it a little bit lighter. That way it's kind of there, but it's kind of not. It's just slightly different from that. Cool. That'll be my eyes. I will not make a mouth. Now I'm going to make the body. So for the body, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to click up here on top left-hand corner, and I'm going to go whoa! I'm going to take my fill color. I'm going to make that a light gray. I'll make it a darker gray. And my stroke, I'm going to make that black like the head was. And now I can't see any of my stuff because this covered it. So remember what we did yesterday was we can click on this little drop arrow. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to drop this down here. There you go. Okay. I don't like how much darker this is. So what I'll do, watch this trick. I'm going to make it the same gray as this. Here's a new tool. It's called our eyedropper. It's down here a little bit above this colors. Looks like a little eyedropper. I'm going to click that, and I have my big shape selected. So when I click on my little shape, it will take that color and put it automatically in there. If I click on the red, it'll put that fill and stroke. If I click it here in the white, it'll do that. So I'm going to go with this gray. And then from there, I'm going to take this gray. I'm just going to take it down a little bit. And I can see right here how they're different. That'll kind of show it's two places, two layers. Okay. Let's see, this big round circle. I'm then going to put feet. Let me move all of this. So I'm going to click and drag a box to select everything. I'm going to move this up. And I'm going to make feet, although my feet are going to be not feet.
Lunches are here.
Thank you. Ooh, that works. I wasn't going to do that, but I'm going to do that now. Okay, let me make this a little bit smaller. All of this. So I'm going to select it all. I'm going to hold Alt or hold Control. So I have my black arrow, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this black or a dark gray. And then I'm going to take my stroke on this shape and make it a lighter gray. Okay, and from here, you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to take this shape, this rounded rectangle, and I'm going to go like this, because it has a line on it. I'm going to hold Alt. Remember I told you before, if I hold Alt and I click and drag, it will copy it. Oops. Make sure that lines up. It gives me a little pink alignment lines. I'm holding Alt, clicking and dragging. Ooh, it almost lined up perfectly. I'll do that. Sweet. Now I have a tire on that side. I will, let's see, here's all my tires over here. So what I'll do is I'll click on this little blue circle on the right-hand side, and if I hold shift, again, if I hold shift and click, it'll let me select each one. If I don't hold shift, it'll just select the layer by itself, as you see there. But if I hold shift, it'll add layers. So I'm going to grab all of these like so. And now that I have all of those layers selected, again, I'll hold Alt. I'll click and drag. Now it does that. Let me put an axle in here. Right in the middle of these. I'll make that a darker or lighter gray, but darker than my robot itself. And then I don't want to leave my axle here. See, shift selects a range of layers. Control selects individual layer. Shift, yes, but if I go like this, you're correct. Awesome. But if I go like click one here and hold shift and click down here, it won't select everything in that range. I can do it like this. That will work. So it works to select my layers like this, hold shift, and I'll select all of them. But in terms of selecting the individual layer itself, I hold shift and it doesn't do that. I have to select each individual one. It is kind of annoying, but I think they do it just to make sure you don't mess up. So, sorry, back to where I was. If I click right here on this bar, I can drag that below everything else. One more time. And now it looks like an axle behind everything else. Okay, I can come up with little buttons and stuff on here too. I can put some shapes, but as you see, what I am displaying right now is I know how to play with fill colors. I know how to play with my stroke color. See, the stroke color is really important right here because that makes the little tire treads pop out. I know how to utilize my layers by organizing them and placing them in different spots. I might even, you know, put, I'll go like this too. I just had a thought. I'll go like this. And I'll put like a little neck hole here for this guy, for this guy's head. I'll center it up. I'm using my arrow keys to move this. And then I'll take that and I'll drop this down below where his head is. Now it's like a hole that his neck's sticking out of. Okay, so I'm just kind of playing. I really didn't sketch this out. I didn't plan it out. I just started putting down shapes and started adjusting things. Your robot doesn't have to be gray. You can make it multicolors. You can have it shooting flames. You can do that. But the whole purpose that I'm looking for is that you're using the shape tools up here to build something. And then you are showing, and I'm going to be able to see like your layers and all that stuff right here. If I want to make this smaller, again, all I have to do is click and drag. I can select everything. I'll hold Alt to make my direct select tool, my selection tool. I hold Shift to keep it proportionate, because if I don't hold shift, I go like this. Okay, so make sure I hold shift as I adjust the size down. And then I'm good to go. One new thing that I want to show you that makes more sense now that we have all these things. Say I want to select, let's see, what else I say. Say I want to select everything here except for the body itself. Well, one thing I can do is I can come over to this body. This is where my body is. You see that in the eyeball. And there's a little empty box right next to that body. If I click on that box, it gives me a lock. And now I can't lock, I can't move that layer. So if I select everything and I move it, it will move everything except for, it'll move everything except for the layer that I have locked, because it's locked. Okay, that comes really in handy when you're working with a lot of layers and you're getting really detailed, like in a later project you might do, or in graphic design too. So understanding how to use that lock is pretty important. Okay. Awesome. Any questions you guys have for me on the stuff that I went through? Should be fairly straightforward based off of yesterday. Cool. Seems like you don't. This is what you'll start working on right now. Again, last name Robot is the name of the file. I will be here for you guys if you're struggling with stuff that we did yesterday or you need some help with this right here. But other than that, go ahead and get to work, and I will see you next week, next Monday.